the Bundesliga 2 might be the most interesting league at the moment. Now that's saying quite a lot, considering if you look at the Premier League, we've got Manchester City who have absolutely crumbled. Who would have seen that coming? But for previous viewers of my channel, the Bundesliga 2 has been a topic of conversation, in multiple videos. But this season is, well, something else. This is the league table, and at first glance, it's a league table. But this league table is more than a league table. It's a crazy one. 3 points separates first place all the way down to 9th place. So for teams like Magdeburg and Hamburg, and people might ask them, oh, how are you doing this season in the league? Oh, well, we're 8th. Oh, we're 9th. It sounds like a pretty, mediocre season. But no, in actual fact, you're just 3 points off the top. If we look to the upcoming match week, which is, well, today technically, these games may have already been played once this video goes live. The one I'm interested in here is Magdeburg against Paderborn. And if you look back at the league table, you'll understand why this is so relevant. Paderborn are first and Magdeburg are 9th, even though the 9th are 3 points off the top. So what this means is that if Magdeburg win, they can actually go top. They can go from 9th position to 1st position in one game. A win by 2 goals or more will actually take Magdeburg top, which is crazy to think, 9th straight to top. Just an edit, this game has already been played and ended in a 1-1 draw, meaning that Magdeburg didn't go top, but still an interesting result. Before we go any further, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It's been a while since the last video, but we're back on it now. I want to take a bit of time to talk about Magdeburg because they've had a very, very interesting season. From the league table, they're not doing badly at all. They're 3 points off the top, which is probably better, in a better place than they expected to be. Of course, the 9th position doesn't reflect of the season. Well, I'm going to say it how it is. They haven't won a game at home for 9 months, and they're 3 points off the top of the league. And of course, this extends back into last season. And we can scroll through, this is a true stat. Now, the last game they played, they won 2-1, but that was away. They won against Hertha Berlin, but that was away. They won again here, but that was away. I mean, sure, they won a friendly in pre-season in July. But if we're talking about actual competitive games, we'd have to go all the way back to the 24th of February 2024. Now, you have to bear in mind that it's currently the 14th of December. That's around about 9.5 months ago. 9.5 months without a competitive home win, and you're 3 points off the top. And potentially, if you win by 2 goals or more, well, today, you could actually go top of the league. Now, that is impressive. It's wild, it's crazy, and how does that even happen? Now, what I find pretty interesting is Magdeburg renamed their stadium for the start of the 2024-25 season, which means that Magdeburg haven't won a competitive game at the Ahve Arena. Interesting. Is it a curse? I don't want to say anything. I mean, obviously it's not. There's probably other reasons as to why they've not won at home. Anyway, in terms of promotion at the moment in the Bundesliga 2, it's pretty much impossible to call. I would say that 9 teams are in with a chance of getting promoted, but it could even be more than 9, considering there's only a 6-point difference if you go down to 11th place between 11th and 1st. Now, even though we can't really call who's going to get promoted, we could take a look and see if it's a little bit more clear-cut who's going to get relegated down to the Bundesliga 2 for next season. Of course, you've got your 2 relegation places in the Bundesliga and then a playoff place who will then basically play the equivalent team who finished 3rd from the top in the Bundesliga with the 2 guaranteed promotion places. And while at the top of the table, it seems like normal service has been resumed for Bayern Munich, it's not looking so good for Bochum and also Holstein Kiel. Now, Heidenheim currently sits 16th spot, but there's not really a huge amount in it. Along with Hoffenheim and St. Pauli, it looks like a bit of a toss-up at the moment. But with Heidenheim's form, it's not looking great. But it is most definitely still too early to call. Only 13 matches have been played in the Bundesliga. Now, of course, even if you know, it's still shocking looking at the Bundesliga 2 table to see some of the calibre of teams that are in there. For instance, Schalke, Hamburg, and Schalke seem to be struggling. They're not really in the race for promotion. Then again, they're not really looking like they're going to get relegated. What a sad reality it is for those fans at the moment, though. Now, last season, Darmstadt finished rock bottom of the Bundesliga with just 17 points, which is a horrific tally. Now, this season, they've already managed more points than they managed last season, albeit in the Bundesliga 2 rather than the Bundesliga. Now, their shining light this season has been Isaac Lindberg, a Swedish centre-forward who has managed to score 10 goals this season, which is really not too bad. Considering he joined in the summer just for €1 million, it seems like they've got a bit of a steal. Considering the top scorer last season only had 8 goals, it would have been interesting to see how they would have fared in the Bundesliga with a proper centre-forward. Last season, they lost their 2 best players to Birmingham and Hull after being relegated, spent a bit of the money, pocketed the rest, but it actually seems to have worked out pretty nicely for them. Another team we have to talk about is Elversberg, A team that in the 2021-22 season were all the way down in the 4th tier of German football, getting promoted into the 3rd tier and instantly getting promoted into the Bundesliga 2. Now at the moment, they sit top of the Bundesliga 2 table as it stands up to date. Now of course, the table is incredibly tight at the top, but if they do get promoted, that's just a space of 4 seasons from the 4th tier to the 1st tier, which would be absolutely insane. Bearing in mind, they've never been in the 1st tier of German football ever. They've never been in it, in the history. And only made possible by some very, very smart loan deals. They've notoriously been really, really good with loan deals and transfers over the past few seasons, and probably contributed a lot to the success. And the player pulling the strings is Viznik Aslani. Now in 16 appearances this season, he's scored 10 goals and assisted 4 times. He's on loan from Hoffenheim, and he seems to be doing very, very well for them. Another player to keep an eye on is Stefanos Simaz, who plays for Nuremberg. He's an 18-year-old centre-forward. So far this season, he's played 13 games, scored 7 times and assisted twice. On loan from PAOK, playing for Nuremberg this season in the Bundesliga 2. And the more you look and the more you dig in the Bundesliga 2, it almost seems like a bit of a breeding ground for new upcoming talent that you'll probably see in the bigger leagues very soon. Now, it is pretty hard to mention the Bundesliga 2 at all without also mentioning the crazy attendances and fans. I mean, we're talking about what is probably one of the most interesting leagues at the moment to watch. So you've also got to consider what's going on in the stadium. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I've already done this before, but this is a new season. And some of the attendances for the second league is just mind-blowing every time you look at it. Schalke with 61,000 average attendance, Cologne with almost 50,000, then you've got Hamburg with 55,000, Hertha Berlin with 48,000. You know, it's kind of insane. Hertha Berlin have a stadium capacity of 74,000 people in the 2nd tier of German football. It's crazy, they don't fill it, but that's still a lot of fans. And it's one thing having like a big attendance, but it doesn't always mean the atmosphere is good. However, when it comes to German football, it's very rare to find an attendance of people that create a bad atmosphere. It always seems to be completely rocking. I mean, it's not just one club, it's the full sweep. The Bundesliga 2 this season truly has to be one of the most unpredictable leagues. Seems like anybody can win against anybody. There isn't a team that have gone unbeaten so far. Every team has lost at least 2 games. Now, a player that I think might be a little bit interesting to talk about. It's funnily enough not somebody who even plays in the 2nd Bundesliga at the moment. It is a player called Christius Solis, who last season played for Dusseldorf in the Bundesliga 2. And also playing 5 times, scoring 2 goals and assisting once in the cup. Now, he was a Norwich player and he was on loan at Dusseldorf last season. Club Brugge decided to pay the €3.5 million release clause, which is a steal. So far this season, in the league he's played 18 games, scored 6 and assisted 3 times. He also played 6 games in the Champions League, scoring once and assisting once. Which is, yeah, quite a level up. His market value is now €18 million, and I bet Dusseldorf are wishing they could have kept him. But to go from being really, really good in the Bundesliga 2 one season, and then the next season, you know, playing all 6 games that I've currently been playing in the Champions League for a different club is quite impressive, and it doesn't really like his standards have dropped too much. He's still playing well. But I guess that's the difficulty that a lot of these Bundesliga 2 clubs have, is that they can't afford to buy these players, these prospects that will be really good players in the future and might even be really good for them in the 2nd Bundesliga. They just don't have the money to sign them, so they loan them. And I mean, I guess sometimes they have the option to buy, but sometimes it gets away from them, and other teams are able to, you know, buy them out on the release clause, or just simply offer them more. But anyway, that is all for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, then maybe you'll enjoy this video that I made in the past about the Bundesliga 2. Not the same, but, you know, it was a good few months ago now, so things might have changed. Anyway, this video has taken me quite a while to make, so if you enjoy these sort of videos and want me to continue making more, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you in the next one.